Well, I cannot make my claim of being on the spot, on the dot today. Sorry to have been running behind there, folks. As you can see, I was very late today. Hey, Brad Mullins. How's it going, Mang? Okay, you're coming in now. Yeah, it didn't matter, I was a little late. One, I hate phones. Two, I had to feed Cactus Jack, and as far as I know, he's in there chomping right now. You see, I picked the merch room today. The mail order room where I send out all your stuff. At least I got some stuff stacked up here if you ought to look at. Not just looking at my beautiful hairdo. You know my credentials, you know my essentials. Unlike the guy getting inaugurated tomorrow, I am unimpeachable. Can't impeach me. Don't like the way old JC's doing it. You gotta head on down the road, son. Now, you know I'm gonna try to not touch this phone as much as possible. Because if not, being late ain't the only thing you have to worry about around here. Alright. Last week, I showed y'all a badass Mothman t-shirt from Point Pleasant, West Virginia. And I also said that I would tell you exactly where my good friend Glenn Watterson got it for me. First thing I want to do, I'm going to show it to you again. And you're probably going, damn, Jeff Clayton, you think it's such a badass Mothman shirt? Why ain't you wearing it? Because I hadn't got the sleeves cut out of it yet. You know old JC don't wear no sleeves. Unless it's a hoodie or something. Oh yeah. I'm going to tell you where to look. You can look on Facebook. M&Z Boutique. M&Z, not M-N-Z, M&Z Boutique. From the beautiful town of Point Pleasant, West Virginia. Well, you can either write them on their page, or it may have their phone number. I think it does have their phone number on it. You can call them. You can say, hey, I was watching Break On Through and I saw a badass Mothman t-shirt. I must have one for myself. Can you dig it? And I think they're going to work something out to hook you up with one. So if we're like, like if we get stationed to the same re-education camp, maybe we run into each other. We're like, hey! Yeah, so. I got a question. The hoodie that we did. Matter of fact, I got Malcolm's right here. Let me take 2 steps over here and get it. Nah. Malcolm will be coming down in February. That's when he can get his. Remember that? That's the back of it. Now me, I'm thinking about doing that in a t-shirt. Do it like we've been doing since lockdown. Take pre-orders. What's everybody say to that? That on a t-shirt. Yeah, Malcolm, your hoodie looks great. It just looks like I should be able to put it on an action figure. Let me see if this new Mezco Dr. Zayas figure can wear that hoodie. I don't know. Might be a little small on Dr. Zayas. So what about T-shirt of the Green Monster? T-shirt, plain old short sleeve T-shirt. What do you say on the front? Hit some hearts, hit some thumbs up or something. You don't have to tell me what it should be instead, or stuff like that. All right, I'm seeing some thumbs and some hearts. That's good. Not many. Not enough to where I'd actually go through with this, I don't think. Maybe I'll make a post in a day or so and see what people say about all that. Everybody hearing me okay? I assume you are. No one has said otherwise. All right. Make it orange. Yeah. Okay. There's something else I talked about last week. I needed to clear something up. Oh, when I was talking about doing Janice Blythe's page, I'm supposed to actually speak to her this weekend, and we're going to go over, kind of what she is looking at for the page, and she's gonna give me the instructions. I will get the instructions. I will carry it out. Can you dig that? So. But what I wanted to tell you was, when I saw our name on the liner notes of the Hills Have Eyes soundtrack reissue, the way that happened was through our good friend of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, our buddy Art Ettinger told her about that. He's the one that let Janice Blythe know that there was a band in the United States that wrote a song about her, or about a character that she played in one of her films. So, credit where credit is due, I always say. And it's not looking too enthusiastic on the Green Monster t-shirt. Should I just scrap that idea? I know we're on a delay here. I know you hear what I say a few minutes, or I say it a few minutes before you hear it. But, okay. Maybe not. So, what do we talk about today? I want to continue misconceptions. We started on some misconceptions last week. I usually don't like to call anyone out, but I'm going to call someone out today that was on my Facebook page. I'm not going to say his name, embarrass him embarrass him more than he already did on my page. But I posted a Dolly Parton, and say happy birthday. I do the birthdays and the RIPs and all that stuff. So this guy gets on the post and goes, "I hate Dolly Parton. She ruined unknown Hinson's life. I'll never listen to her again." Well, Dolly Parton didn't ruin Unknown Hinson's life, his professional life. That would have laid pretty much in the hands of Unknown Hinson. It's a different day, people. Some things you just can't go around doing. Now, I don't know why Dolly Parton is so protected. But, I mean, it was a rude thing. It was a rude thing for him to say. I'll say that right to his face. And if you don't think I will, let me give you a little background history. Me and Unknown Hinson grew up in the same town. Can you dig it? Albemarle, North Carolina. Look it up. And while you're looking it up, look for a little tiny town on the outskirts of it called New London. That's where old JC used to stomp around. His real name is Danny Baker. I knew Danny Baker's dad. Good friend of mine named Randy Sides. Used to take guitar lessons from him. Now back then, Randy was a good guitar player. I don't know what he's doing now. I haven't, sat down and talked to him in forever. But we knew Danny Baker's dad. We knew that Danny Baker was the guy in Sugar Creek. Now, the last time I saw him in person, I am under the impression he is living in Albemarle once again. I don't know that for a fact. So this is not a fact. And if there's anyone out there that wants to, well, you're wrong because he... Save it. But the last time I saw him was on the streets of Albemarle, North Carolina. Me and my brother, Greg Clayton, you all know him. He prints all my stuff. He played on Eat More Possum. He's Colt fan. We parked in front of the courthouse because we had business in the courthouse. Jeff Clayton, what were you and your brother doing in the courthouse? You know what? That's none of your business. But we're getting out, and here comes Danny Baker and his lady. And we're just like, hey, it's like, hey, man, what's happening? Yeah, that kind of stuff. And, what are you boys doing in town? Man, we're getting ready to run into the courthouse right quick. He goes, well, that's a song right there. And, so, I know Danny Baker. I've known him for a long time. I don't know if it was the most well-attended show. I don't know if it was the best show, but I'll tell you what, it was a show. It was a memorable show, a show that anyone that was there will not forget. When Unknown Hinson, ANTiSEEN, and Hank 3 played Ground Zero in South Carolina, in Spartanburg, South Carolina. It's one they still talk about today. People go, oh, was it a tour? Did you tour? Was it a tour? Where did you go? One show only. One show only. Spartanburg, South Carolina. Amanda, you were at that show? You remember it, don't you? Oh, yeah. You ain't going to forget that one. Yep. Spartanburg is Moonshine Town. But anyway, so he said that offhand remark about Dolly and said some other things, and it fucked him up. Now, do I think he needed to be fucked up like that for what he said? No. I think maybe people should have just maybe, damn man, that's fucked up, or just ignore it. Laugh if you thought it was funny, whatever. But have a man's career ruined over it? Now you listen here to old JC, I'm going to tell you what it is, okay? You want to boycott somebody for unknown Hinson? Boycott Cartoon Network. I guarantee you a large portion of his income came from that TV show. Not playing live. Sure, he got paid pretty damn good playing live, but he was cutting back to playing. So if you want to be mad at someone other than unknown himself, be mad at Cartoon Network, who wouldn't stand behind him and gave him his walking papers. Come on my damn page with your proclamations. People are going to call you out. Pentagrams. Y'all like those? Y'all think that's what real country's about? You think that's what real rock and roll's about? I think they're stupid. You know when I like pentagrams? When I discovered Venom. Yeah, I probably saw them when Motley Crue came out and shouted, but I didn't like Motley Crue. Man, I could probably put everything... I could probably make a 10-inch record of all the songs I like by Motley Crue. I don't like them. Is it because I'm afraid of them? I don't know. No. I feel they have zero power. I just think they're dumb. I'm not a 15-year-old kid anymore. It doesn't mean shit to me. Now, I know I've offended a lot of you out there. Because I see what you guys dig. And, you know, and even some of my good friends that have bands that may listen to old JC on Break On Through. Like, goddamn. Our logo is a you know what? I don't like it. I like your band. I don't like your stupid logo. New song list for work. You want me to... William Troy, that's my co-work in Maine. We are working class hooligans. And yeah, I'll make a Motley Crue playlist for work when I come back in. But yeah, pentagrams, man. I just think they're dumb. I think singing about religion is dumb. You don't like God-fearing Christians? Well, stay away from them. I was married to a woman once that proclaimed herself the queen of black metal. God. Ooh. Even Paul Williams don't know what to think about that. some pretension that me and all the guys in ANTiSEEN think the exact same way about everything. I wish I had one of them big red X's like on game shows. We are so polar opposite on most things that some subjects are banned from the damn rehearsal room. Because we won't practice, we'll argue. We don't think the same on it. We're not all like this. I've never been into joining organizations or groups of any kind. The only group I ever joined was ANTiSEEN, and I started that. So I recruited and joined. I made my own group. Marvin Haywood, what's banned? I don't even know what you're saying. I had a good story to tell. Oh, yeah. I was going to ask you. Have y'all been watching Malcolm Tent's Shoot interview series? He just did part 2 with Mad Brother Ward Sunday. I got to watch the rest of it this morning. I thought it was really good. Russ was talking about a time when we went sideways. That's what I call the heel turn. Oh, I'm not going to tell you what subjects are banned, so we could get prodded and brought out into the light to see. I'm not going to do that for anyone's entertainment. You just have to know that these are some things we don't discuss. It's pointless. But yeah, the heel turns. Me and Mad Brother Ward had a good heel turn history. You know who had a worse one? Me and Tom O'Keefe. God, it went on for years. And man, we were vicious to each other. Guess no one can hurt you worse than someone that knows you real well, huh? But you know what? When you really do love these people, all that becomes water under the bridge, and you really don't refer back to it. I'm only referring back to it because I heard Russ talk about it, and I'm talking about it on here for you, to give you guys some information, about what we have gone through. But, yeah. Michael Dolan says he's tired. I am too, Michael. Not quite sure how I want to go on out with this, but yeah, we've had some knockdown drag-outs, man. Early on in the band's history, probably in the first 24 shows we ever played, man. We were playing in Atlanta at the Metroplex. And Joe was just like fucking up left and right, and man, just out of complete frustration, I just walked over to him and went, wham, right in the mouth. His mouth started bleeding. But you know what? He snapped. He snapped into where he needed to be, and he was focused. He was in the bathroom later, you know, keeping, putting water on his busted lip. And one of the guys from the opening bands, DDT or Neon Christ or one of them, they come in and they see him doing that, and they went, hey, what? Hey, he really punched you? And Joe says, brother, you see any blood on our stage, it's real. Yeah, I apologized to him later, but you know what? He's a pro. Instead of, you know, throwing his guitar down and stomping off stage, he relished in it. Just like when Sid Vicious got his nose busted down in Texas, or, yeah. I forgot which city, but yeah. Play it up. That's what Joe did. Was the Metroplex as great as people painted it out to be? Well, man, it was it was a nice place. It was a really nice club. You know, it was laid out really good. The guy that ran it, which you know, I told y'all how terrible. Yeah, San Antonio, Mark. You're right. How terrible I am with names and stuff. I can't remember these dudes' names, man. But you know, they were, you know, a lot older than us, so they'd seen a lot of shit. And there's a sound man that worked there, had black hair, big fella, walked around barefooted all the time. I remember there being cats in there. A bus in the back where one of those guys lived. But, man, I never saw anybody. We just went down there and played a couple times. But, I'm going to tell y'all something. And you can fact check this if you want to. The last show that the original 5 Dead Boys ever played was Charlotte, North Carolina. Oh, yeah. I'm pretty damn sure it was. Because the next night, they went down and played the Metroplex. But 2 of them didn't show up. They went back to Cleveland, or wherever they were living at the time. And then after that, you know, you saw, like, there's a ton of video out there of the Dead Boys just playing as a 4-piece with no bass player, or, yeah, like the 2 guitar players, Stiv singing, and I guess Johnny Blitz on drums, but, no, hey, you know what? Fact check me. I'd like to know if I'm right. If I saw the last show of the original 5 Dead Boys, I was there. Oh yeah. Yeah, me and Joe used to have some. We didn't really have heel turns so much as we had just dissension in the ranks. And you know, we always used to and sometimes, man, we made the mistake of dragging it out into public, which was very bad form. Something we learned early on to not do. If we had problems, man, we were close enough that we could talk it out. And I don't know if I told you guys this before, but and I'm certainly not trying to bring up any of Joe's, what I consider to be Joe's weaknesses. But Joe was smart and he could tell when things were not up to par as they should be. And the last couple years of his life, man, we were pretty much stuck playing 30 songs out of hundreds because his memory was getting so bad, and not as long term, but day to day, and being able to retain anything was just it was disappearing. And I'll never forget one of the last, like, kind of really heart-to-heart conversations we had. We had been at Barry's, at Sir Barry Hannibal's house in Concord, and we're heading back to Charlotte. Him to Charlotte. I'd drop him off in Charlotte. I would keep going down to Rock Hill, South Carolina, where I lived at the time. And he brought it up, man. He's just like, man, maybe we should seriously consider having a second guitarist, but not on stage with us, like that sits behind the amps and stuff and plays. And I was just like, oh, you know, yeah. I mean, in times where I was frustrated and pissed about how things may have went, I thought about that myself, but I never, ever thought it was going to be something we would almost, you know, have to consider. So yeah, tough stuff like that, man. We could talk to each other. And I guess if we're being, man, let me fix this thing here a little bit. I guess if we're being completely honest, this is complete honesty right here. I don't think he liked me very much, which would be fine, because truth be told, toward the end, I didn't like him very much. But we liked each other enough to do what we could do for the band. The Ramones hated each other. I wouldn't say we ever got to the point where we hated each other, but I would say we got to the point where we did not like each other. But like when I had other members in the band that I grew to not like, no, there was no patience shown for them. They were gonna get axed. Some of them had the wherewithal and the brain enough to go ahead and bail before that happened. It wasn't all like brotherhood and stuff like that. But I mean, you know, me and my brother used to argue, but only like brothers do. You know, goddamn, I've seen Jeff Young and Joe Young get into some that were it's like nobody wanted to get in the middle of it. You know, it's pretty bad. Truth be told, though, with all this, he didn't like me, I didn't like him stuff, the one thing that was definite, I love the guy. If I didn't, we had probably parted ways a long time ago. And I did not expect for our parting of ways to happen the way it did. But speaking of that, it's going to be time soon, very soon, that I want to get started on something I talked about earlier this year, and that's the gravestone for Jeff and Joe in Lenoir, where people can travel and have a place to pay their respects. Michael, do you have footage of early '90s shit? Man, I got '90s shows, and I even got some of the mid '80s. Got a ton of video that I don't know what to do with. We put out DVDs before, but they don't seem to move. We put out that last one of the Eat More Possum lineup when we got back together for the very last time, not knowing it was the last time, of course. But I mean, the place you get it done, for it to have decent packaging and decent look and everything. I mean, the cost had to be $20 on them to make anything. And needless to say, we didn't sell many. But I don't know. Maybe I'll think of a way. Maybe I'll talk to my good pal Adam Neal from Savage Master and talk about that stuff. Or yeah, putting the shit on YouTube, I guess, you know. You went to all our shows at the old steakhouse place. That was Jeremiah's, and you are correct. It was a steakhouse. The very steakhouse that my mom and aunt did an intervention on me, trying to tell me about the music business. I don't know, about 8-10 years later, I'll be hanging from two poles in there on barbed wire, torn all to pieces. Funny how things work out. But I really still like for you guys to write me and let me know what you want to talk about. I got something last week. Someone wanted to talk about our vehicles that we used throughout the years. But you know what, man? That early stuff, I cannot remember. I have to go look through some old photos. I remember, you know, at the very beginning, we all just used our vehicles. You know, it was like, you know, 4 cars going to a damn show. But it's a good subject that I'll tackle sometime. And maybe when I have some visuals to show you, like, man, you guys, the one we call the Death Star, you guys wouldn't believe that damn thing. We ripped a perfectly good driver's seat out of it to put a seat from Jeff and Joe's living room. Did we screw it down to the floorboard? No. Was there a seat belt or anything that would hold you in? Nope. Just a chair. Big cushy chair. Driving along, you know, we took it all the way across the country and back. And even if we did get stopped, I don't know, man. The cops just didn't seem to, I don't know if they noticed it. Or maybe that was before the seatbelt thing was mandatory. What are you going to do? Man, one time we did the entire United States out to the West Coast, back again. No trouble at all from the police. until we got back on I-85 going north in Gaffney, South Carolina, where the giant peach is. If any of you guys ever watched House of Cards, the character that Kevin Spacey played was from Gaffney, South Carolina. And we got stopped in Gaffney, South Carolina, and they searched the entire van. There was Tom or somebody had brought some washing powders or something, and the box busted behind one of the couches, and the cops were looking, what's all that white stuff right there? And Todd Goss, our sound man at the time, goes, I don't know, taste it. Yeah, all that time, no cops till we got home. Pretty good though. I mean, yeah, we had to take everything out of the van and all, but I mean, they were nice about it. They weren't assholes. They weren't, kicking us and smacking us with flashlights and shit. So. Well, what else you want to talk about before I sign out of here? You've got to tell me something. Now it's quiet. Only person talking about anything is Will. Let's see, what is this? You live in my neighborhood, and I've seen you and your lovely wife out and about. And a stalker would love to just have a few bits and see your collection. Maybe one day. We're kind of private people. I mean, I'll show you guys like this, but maybe. What's for dinner tonight? I'll tell you what's for dinner tonight, son. Crab legs, everybody. Do I still have Joe's guitar? Who was that? Was that, oh, I touched the phone. That's John Hayes. John Hayes, I do still have Joe's guitar. The guitar still has the strings on it from his very last show. Unless we changed it at the 35th. I'll have to ask Barry or Russ about that. But, I still got his amp. Still got all that stuff. John Hayes, what I needed to ask you about is, do you still have that powered monitor? And if so, are you using it? And if not, will you be willing to part with it? Let me know. PM me. I mean, you got to tell me something. Let's see. What Dennis just asked me, what are ideas that we are glad, epic bad ideas? Okay, here's a good one. My main man Mondo wants to know if there's a difference between 17-year-old Mad Brother Ward and now. Oh yeah. Let's say any of those traits he had at 17 aged like fine wine. I'm just going to leave it at that. Epic bad ideas we're glad we didn't do. Man, we in our early years we were way into pyrotechnics. And we had a place here in Charlotte that would build stage effects for you, and the guy that ran the place, his name was Frankie, a really cool guy. I think he was really, I think he got a kick out of our enthusiasm and drive, at such a early stage, and, what we were trying to do. And I remember one day he built me I don't have anything that size here, but about like this, with a pipe that's screwed in the top, and I had the wire things that went through the pipe on the outside, and you put it in your box where you flip the switch. And he told me, man, he says, you don't need a lot of powder. He said, just a spoonful is all you need. It will give you the effect you want. He said, because that pipe is so thin, it's going to go boom, you know. Well, you know, I'm thinking, well, this guy don't know what I'm really looking for. I ain't really looking for boom. I'm looking for so that spoon idea went out the door. Me and Tom O'Keefe poured a nice, I don't know, man. If the pipe was this tall, we must have poured that much powder in it. And we took it out onto the porch of my apartment, and we shut the glass door, and I put it outside. We went inside, and I had my fuse box. We used to have this big fuse panel built for us by Dave Wynkoop, who was once part of Mad Brother Ward. He also ran pyro for us later on. But we went to test it, and I was getting ready to cut it on, and Tom goes, wait a minute. And I'm like, what? And with his mouth, he makes the opening chords of Detroit Rock City. Now I hit it. Man, I hit it. Oh, yeah. You know, on the cartoons, you always used to hear about that earth-shattering kaboom? There it was. Rattled my glass doors. I'm amazed they didn't break. But huge cloud of smoke. When the smoke cleared, the box was sitting there torn to pieces that we just bought for $60. And that was a lot of money for us back then, believe me. And we couldn't find the pipe. So we went looking around outside, and we found it about 30 feet away from the balcony of the apartment, stuck in the ground. So I'm very glad that we tested that and destroyed it before we took that to a club, because that was exactly where we were going with it, to the next show. Boom. God damn, we would have impaled somebody. Yeah, William Troy wants me to tell y'all we got ANTiSEEN books, Destructo Maximus. Got a warehouse full of them. Let's buy some. Yeah, actually, you have that book. If you have Destructo Maximus, you can follow right along with some of my stories. I'm telling you know what I'll usually tell what time period we're talking about. You can see some of the main characters we're talking about in here and stuff. And I know one day, a lot of people have told me, man, we want to hear about some of the crazy fans and hanger-oners that you've had over the years, but that's when I have to approach with caution. I don't want to throw those people's names, because like some of these people I hadn't seen in decades. I don't know that they want to be associated with this stuff anymore. But now that's one we'll consider. But please, write me, let me know. I am going to be interviewed on Malcolm Tent's shoot interviews soon. And by the way, Malcolm, I have Zoom now. That's all I can say about that. I have it. What do I do with it? Got a new record coming out soon. Live from quarantine. Oh yeah, I'm gonna let you know when it's happening. What do y'all think of that? Man, I'm telling you, you really about can't get no better than that. I see, here's somebody. Did you ever talk to the guy who you hit with your microphone? Yeah, he wrote me. He asked me, is it okay if I come back to one of your shows? And I'm like, I don't care, man. But you know, you mess around and act like you're going to hit my wife again, you're going to get another microphone to the face. That's all I can say. But then, like, months later, while playing at Ground Zero in Spartanburg, that fella's girlfriend came up to me and said, yeah, I used to date the guy that you, that was act like he was going to hit your girlfriend, and you did the Spider-Man move with the microphone and popped him. I said, oh yeah. And she goes, like, yeah. She goes, I really appreciate you doing that, because he was a very abusive person, and I had a restraining order on him and all, and so he eventually just moved out somewhere in the Midwest. And I'm like, oh well. I don't like doing that kind of stuff, but sometimes that's got to be the next move. People, thanks for coming. Thanks for listening. I hope you had a good time today. I don't know, it felt a little heavy today, but just giving you some truth. Matter of fact, by the time these are all over with, you may get more truth than you ever wanted to hear. But y'all be careful out there. Who knows what tomorrow may bring. Whatever it does, try to be careful. Take care of yourself. Just remember that when all is done, and there's nothing left to do, there's always time to break on through.